Good morning, Ed.
Hey, looks like we're live.
Yes, sir.
And if you don't know who I am, I'm Ed Parcaut. I do the radio show Real Estate Jerky, and this is our little live we do weekly. And Bobby's been joining me to talk about different things. And today we're talking about, because you actually are in charge of this one today, but why a home inspection is important. And you should always get. I don't know the whole title, but I think some of because it's going to change when we post it. But
Yeah, I'm gonna say it's a lot. So also the importance of a home warranty, and those two kind of tie together. So, so anyway, I have.
All right, so I got a question for you. So, I know we always talk about you hear all the time, and my clients are doing all the time, waiving an inspection contingency.
Correct.
So, Mike, so you can throw that banner up there, but what is an inspection contingency, and why are people waiving it?
Yes, the inspection contingency, it's a 17-day period. And basically what it says is, hey, this gives me time to investigate the property. And if there's anything wrong with it, then I have the right to either request repairs or cancel the contract. When you get rid of that contingency period, what you're saying is it doesn't matter what I find wrong with the house. That's not going to be a factor in me purchasing the home.
Or canceling.
Yeah.
You can still ask them for things to be repaired. It's just not going to be a reason to cancel the contract.
Precisely. And the big thing that's always on the table when you start waiving contingencies is that earnest money deposit. Right. So when you do that, what you're saying is, hey, I have, normally it's like 1%, right? So we'll say median is in between $4,600 to $5,400 is what's going to be your deposit that you're putting down. So it's something we're seeing a lot, and it's something that we would definitely never advise people to do, but it's such a crazy market that people want to do that.
And I want to explain that earnest money deposit that they put down goes towards their closing costs or their down. It's not just given away. It's part of but as a lot of people don't realize, when you write a real estate contract, it's a contract, and a contract is not valid unless there's an earnest money with it. And that's why you have earnest money deposit. You need something of value to give so that it becomes a contract. And people don't understand that. I've had agents who have no idea these are contracts, and by law, these are actual contracts. These are what these are. Contract law comes into play. That's why people get into trouble.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, everything that you sign your name to, you should read, and it does hold weight.
It's a contract, and you're going to have to abide by what it says in there. Arbitration, everything that says in there. So please read it. And if you need to, they can give you a copy ahead of time. Not what you're going to fill out, but if you want to look at one ahead of time so you know what you're signing.
Yeah,
it could take you. There's so many pages now in the new one. That's 16. A totally different subject.
Yeah.
And all the different disclosures and everything else.
Yeah.
All right. So if I waive my inspection contingency, I'm actually waiving what inspections?
Yeah. So there's a lot of different inspections. It depends on where you're at, location, right? I put down just some of the basic ones. So obviously, we're going to have a home inspection regardless, even if you waive that contingency period, right? But it's during the home inspection you find out if there's any issues, right? Mm-hmm. Pest inspection would be looking for termites, any kind of wood destroying pests, dry rot, things like that. Roof. It's pretty common to find, things that could be repaired on a roof, whether it be major or minor. Depending on the age of the roof, if a roof is 15 years or older, I would definitely want to have an inspection on it. If you live out in the county or up in the foothills, you're going to have a septic and also a well up there. And then
you could be in Modesto.
Yeah, there's parts of Modesto in the middle of Modesto that are county. That are septic, which is.
I'm just saying it's not always out in the country. It could be here in the country.
Yeah. Well, I know it's
the older homes are not connected to sewer, but some of them are getting forced to be connected when they transfer, right? Some of those because the city has sewer right there and they want you to connect to it. So,
yeah, a lot of the homes built like in the 40s originally would have had a septic that got tied into the sewer at some point in time.
Right. All right. So one thing I want to say that just because you waive your inspection contingency doesn't mean you can't have these. You can still order these and you can still look at them, but you can't say I'm canceling because but there's this huge hole in the roof. Mm-hmm. But you can ask for those repairs still.
Yeah, but obviously they're not obliged to do those repairs in order to keep the contract going. So a
You
lot of
still have
times.
2 other contingencies.
Yes. Yeah, and you have the loan and appraisal contingencies.
Right. Yeah. So
And
there you have, and I'm not saying we have other outs, but you still have protection. It's when you waive all contingencies that you have no protection.
true.
Your earnest money's on the line. And that's what they want. They want people to buy the house and not have to worry about someone's backing out last minute. And now they got to start over because they're buying their house that they have.
Yeah. In which you can totally understand from a seller's perspective, right? Because it's pretty common to see a house go back on the market, and then in the notes they'll say, "Hey, we have a report for a roof repair for $3,500." The seller says they'll take care of that, but why the buyer previously backed out, who knows? Because it sounds like the seller was willing to fix it, So,
Or they weren't at that time, and now they are because now it's disclosed to everybody.
well, yeah, so that's the other thing. Yeah, yeah.
And once they know it, it has to be disclosed
Yeah.
the rest of the time. And I think sellers don't get that. They're just upset. And then they're like, well, I'm not going to fix that. And then it falls out of the market and they go, okay, I guess I will.
Yeah.
Right.
But the inspection period too is where a lot of feelings get hurt because, everybody thinks that their house is perfect. There's nothing wrong with it. And then once you get inspections telling you that your baby's ugly, but it's a good negotiating tool for buyers. And so I would never recommend waiving really any of the contingencies except for like the loan contingency. Like you said, if you look at it and you know that they're putting, the loan to value is at a point to where you can waive that.
Right. Well, and not only that, it's it depends on where you are. If we're fully DU'd everything and they get a property inspection waiver, then you can get rid of the appraisal contingency.
Uh-huh.
Most people still don't want to get rid of the loan in our area and in Tuolumne County don't want to get rid of that loan. They want you to get rid of that loan contingency. They don't want any contingency because they want you to close on the house at all costs or give them the money for not doing that.
Yeah.
All right. So one of the things that you didn't have on here, which you're going to bring up now, do you need inspections on vacant land?
Sorry, did I cut you off?
No, I can do it afterwards.
Okay. Yeah. So this is a question that doesn't come up very often, but people are now looking at creative ways to kind of, they want to build a property, right? There's such a low inventory. They're saying, hey, what are the costs of building right now, right? So if you look at a place
like
roof, it is
worse than buying a house.
It is, but you could also say get a couple of acres of land, right? So you look at a place like LaGrange that has lots of land available, and I had this happen. I had a client 3 years ago that we did this, and she didn't realize we had to still do inspections on the land itself, because you have to do what's called a perk test to make sure that you can put a septic system in there. If not, you might have to do an engineered system. Part of the investigations is making sure you actually have water. You can drill a well and actually have utility service, things like that. So you still have to do inspection periods on vacant land. Sometimes you have to extend those contingency periods because it takes a long time to get these people out there.
Someone's got to dig it, and then they got to get this county to come out and check for that perk test. I know I had one done. But a lot of people are buying land as is. You have no inspections. You're just buying it, and then you're figuring that out later because most of the time, we had 32 acres we bought. We could find water somewhere. We can find a place to put like a septic, but the issue is because of where we're at, we have to do it engineered. If we go down to the bottom where you can't see the view we have, we could put a regular one in, but we want to be up on the hill. So that's the difference. But one thing that's not on here, and I was going to talk about, it's not necessarily an inspection, but the survey to know where the corners are. Doesn't really happen down here a lot, but it happens up in Tuolumne County, Calaveras County, other places where they have acreage. They want to know where the corners are. They want to know where my land ends, right? And this is an example. When we bought that 32 acres, supposedly there's monuments out there. Couldn't find them. Had to hire somebody to come out with satellite stuff and walk around. Beep, beep, there it is. And they found it. And another one where they were supposedly have one where the guy couldn't get it in the ground back in the 70s. Said he was going to come back and cement it in. Never did. He just has a stack of rocks there.
That's the monument, huh?
That's the monument.
Yeah.
But usually it's a piece of rebar that's been pounded into the ground that has a cap on it. And in town, there are little things in the concrete in the sidewalk usually that shows your actual edges. But there's usually nothing in the back part of the yard, right? So that's when you have to get a surveyor out to survey the land and check the corners. And that's getting harder and harder to do these days because surveyors are getting pulled to do so many other jobs and getting hired to help out on building homes and those kind of things.
Yeah.
All right. So that's enough on vacant land.
No. But people are just surprised, like, oh, really? I didn't know I had to do anything about it. I thought
You don't have to, but you should.
Yeah,
because let's go back to land before you go to your next thing. The issue with land is most people have to pay cash for it, or they have to get so much, 50% down and have a small bank carry the other, which is very difficult. Or you have the seller carry. You give them 20%, have the seller carry till you go get your construction loan, figure out which way you're going to do. Because we can do the construction loan that includes putting a manufacturer on there, a modular on there, all the site work that needs to be done, or just a stick-built home. We can do that from the beginning to the end. But the problem is if you don't have the money to buy the land, it has to sit in escrow for 6 months. Most sellers don't want to do that. So here's your 20% and I'll carry it. You carry it until we get through this process and then we'll pay you off. Yeah. Because it's not as easy as what people think. Because if you're going to do a stick-built house, you're going to have to get an architect. You're going to have to go through your plans, get them approved with the county. That's going to take time. You're going to have to put solar on. You're going to have to put sprinkler systems in it. But, if you find a place that has a shack on it, meaning like a proper, a 1-bedroom, 1-bath house.
Yeah.
And you can always rebuild that so much bigger and not have to worry about everything else. So if you can find a piece of land that already has a septic, already has a well, has an old manufactured home on it, or I should say mobile home that nobody wants, right? Because you can't, because it's not part of the property really. Buy that piece, then you can put one more back on there or build, or a manufactured home, and that stuff's already there. It's so much easier if the utilities are there, because otherwise a pole for PG&E is 20 grand, could be 30 grand. I need 4 poles. Figure that one out.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, just because of the span you're going, they don't want to trench utilities.
You can't trench volcano rock.
Oh, is that what you have on your property?
Well, it's down there, underneath. Yeah, that's what we're going to build, whatever they call that stuff. Cap. That's basically you can't. There's dirt, but you go down so far, you can't get down that far.
Gotcha. So you have to have
poles.
You have to do 4 poles to kind of make the
to get from the edge of the corner where it's at to our property.
Gotcha.
So,
man, you're just difficult, Ed.
No, I wanted to go solar, but then nobody construction wise right now will allow you to build with just solar.
Really? You still have to? No kidding. Oh.
Yeah, they want you connected right now still. Hopefully it'll change shortly in the next year or so. But the other issue with that is we're getting off topic, but the other issue, if you just have solar and now you have to have the sprinkler systems in the houses, you got to have now your pump has to have a huge reserve, has to have a backup generator. You got to have so much extra stuff. It was like an extra 30 grand just to have that off grid for all that stuff to make sure it works during, a fire.
Gotcha.
And it's not saving your house. It's saving the neighbors.
Yeah.
Anyway, last thing we got to need to talk about, why do you want to get a home warranty and what does it cover?
Yeah. So what does a home warranty cover?
This could be a totally separate show, by the way.
I know. Maybe we'll touch on that maybe next week, but it kind of depends. Just like everything in real estate, it depends. So you can get a standard home warranty, and it's going to cover things like your water heater. It's going to cover your garbage disposal goes out, things like that. It won't cover your appliances. You can go all the way to the other extreme, get a platinum home warranty that covers anything you bring in the house. As far as like appliances, things like that. But
I would do that one.
Yeah, the platinum one, it's only like $200 more than the regular one.
For a year.
Yeah. And if your washing machine goes out, you pay the service fee, they come out. If it's, if it's dead, they replace it. And air conditioners.
And they replace it with the same quality as what it was originally.
Yeah.
And the reason I'm saying that is I had a microwave went out that was not brand new. It was like probably 10 years old. And they put a brand new Kenmore Elite freaking one in there because that's kind of the brand that it was. I'm like, holy cow.
Yeah.
That's just ridiculous. Can I get my stove to go out?
Yeah. But so the home warranty covers all of your systems in the house. And if you have a pool, then you get an upgraded one that's going to cover that as well. Right. but going back to the very first part of our conversation, the inspections, right?
Right.
So a lot of times, if you put in a work request with your home warranty company, they're going to ask to see your home inspection. And if you waive that contingency and you didn't bother doing those inspections, what they're going to say is, well, we really have a hard time proving that this appliance or this system ever worked to begin with. So the
But
two go hand in
that's
hand.
usually, I've never seen that happen. I know you guys probably have, but
Mhm.
that's only when they put in the claim in the first week, right? Usually that right away, as soon as they own the house, they call up that first week and they don't even have their number for their thing. And they're like, this appliance went out. And that's when they want to just get away from you paying for that. And then that's when you get the home warrant, that inspection that shows that it was working during the process to get them to actually take care of it. If it's 6 months down the road, they're not going to ask you for that home inspection. It's usually right away to make sure that you didn't buy it with broken stuff and getting it replaced.
Yeah. Well, but
because I had on rentals, I had on the house I live in now. When it was a rental, I had it then, and we actually moved back into it. And that's when one of the things broke. They didn't ask me to see, my inspection because I owned it for so long. It's just in the beginning, if they think there was you just bought the house and they don't know for a fact that it actually worked before because it was so old.
Yeah.
And you need to fight. So you need to fight that with that proof.
Yeah. Well, and I've had, probably, I think I can think of at least 3 clients where they've said that they wanted to see their home inspection.
Yeah. Because it was I'm sure it was because it was so new, right? It happened right away when they moved in.
I'm trying to recall now. I know, like when I bought my current house, it was 2 months after we bought the house that the water heater went out.
And did they ask you for your inspection?
Well, I didn't have a home inspection. I did it myself.
Did they ask you for it?
They didn't want to give me as much for the water heater. They ended up giving me about like 60% of the cost of the water heater.
Well, what depends on your rep, right? Now I always say go back to your rep. So know who your rep is, and what it's really the company of the home warranty that you buy. That's so much more as important as the level of the home warranty. Because I'm not going to say their name on here, but the one I have, I've never had an issue. And if I ever had an issue, right, it was a potential issue, I would just call up the rep. They would take care of it. But that works because we are in the industry.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, if you help people buy it and they're having issues, you can call the rep and the rep will get it behind and help you and help your clients.
Yeah.
So, or tell you how to fix that issue so that doesn't happen. But this is a whole new this could be a 30-minute on its own because I've done radio shows on this and I've done lives on this because it's so important to have that information and have these, because it makes it, what's best about a home warranty is whatever the cost of the inspection, it keeps going up each time, $65, $75, whatever it's garbage disposal breaks, and you call them up to get a fix, you pay a fee, they come out, they fix it, plain and simple. The only time other than that is air conditioning, water heaters, air conditioning, including heaters, those kind of things. You have to pay for the difference in any additional upgrades or pull permits, those kind of things. So, because I had my air conditioning and heating at my Brady house go out and they replaced it and it was on the roof. It ended up costing me $1,300 of a $6,500 just unit cost of that whole thing, which was we had bought the place up in Cold Springs, and same time, both of them the heater went out. Yeah. Heater went out up there. They were like, okay, we can have somebody from Modesto come up and put this in and whatever. I'm like, I don't want somebody from Modesto. I want somebody up here so that way I can call them to come back. So they ended up just giving me so much towards that. I hired the other people to come out and do it. I paid that. I think again, it was like another $1,100 out of my pocket, but I also told them to plumb it for air conditioning for later.
Gotcha.
And then I put that in the following year. And now my wife laughed at me at that time. And now she loves me now because there's times where it's warm up there where you need it for 45 days or otherwise you couldn't enjoy it as well. So
true.
Yeah. So that's it. I guess that's pretty long.
Yeah, I know. We always shoot to make these things short, but
it's because you added that home warranty that we should have just like, but it's important to get a home warranty, even if you get an inspection or even if you don't get an inspection, still get the home warranty to protect you. And a lot of sellers in the past were like, I'll pay for that so that they don't come back and sue me later. But now they're like, you pay for your own home inspection. Your home warranty, your own home warranty, not inspection.
Yeah, it's been a couple of years since we've had a seller paying for a home warranty.
Yeah. Well, it's just market change.
Yeah. That's making it competitive.
Or headaches, whatever you want to call it. All right. Thanks for bringing up the show today. Thanks for being here.
Ed.
All right, sir.
I'll talk to
and
you
everybody
soon.
else, again, thanks for showing up and thanks for watching this. If you're watching this after the fact, just put #replay. And if you're over 50, that's the